Hello, this is Jeff on the Southbound Sports Show. Starting a little segment called Spaces or Laces. Just going through a little test run here, see if the audio and everything's working. We have a few things on our plate today that we want to talk about. Basically, what the show is going to be is kind of a recap of the Southbound Sports Show on Tuesday and just dive into some things that weren't mentioned or elaborate on some things. But basically, it's just continuation of the show. And to kick things off, first thing we talk about is the Pirates. I know they talked about Tuesday night. The Pirates are red hot right now. Everyone in the Pittsburgh area, a lot of friends, text and talk to. Very, very excited and looking forward to the end of the year here. Wrapping up the Pirates. Everyone's thinking they might make the postseason. My opinion is I don't think they will. I don't think it's realistic. When you have a division with the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Brewers playing well, I know we just did, I think we just swept the Brewers, but realistically, I don't think it's reasonable to think the Pirates will make the playoffs. With the trade deadline coming up in the past couple years, the Pirates really haven't made any significant moves. I think the last time they made a real move was a couple years ago when they were in the hunt for the wild card. They brought in that one outfielder who was really good. 1 year they brought in Freeze, but as far as that's concerned, usually we're dumping players, dumping contracts towards the trade deadline. So while the Pirates are playing well right now, I don't think it's realistic. I don't think the Pirates have a realistic shot at making, well, at least winning the division. I don't think they're going to win the division. The wild card, maybe a slight chance, but I wouldn't get your hopes up, honestly. I don't think it's very realistic to think the Pirates are going to make the playoffs this year, considering where they've come from. I know that Sterling Marte is now in the lineup, but I don't think that's enough to push them over the edge, honestly. I don't really think it's quite enough. Another thing I wanted to get into today that we haven't spoke about at all on the Southbound Sports Show is preseason tickets for the NFL. The NFL season's coming up here. Preseason games are right around the corner. Honestly, I think it's a big scam. I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with how most NFL teams operate with season tickets. So with the season tickets, you have to purchase them in advance. So my mom's a season ticket holder now for the Steelers, and she has to buy all the preseason tickets. Well, unfortunately, like any football fan, I'm not really interested in going to preseason games. While I do like watching preseason, getting the urge of watching football back, but it's not really fun to go to a game. While there's a lot of developmental players and different people fighting for positions that's fun to watch, I'd rather watch it on TV. I don't want to go to the stadium. I don't want to pay to go to a preseason game. And that's what's also hard about preseason, too, that I hate going on a little rant here about the NFL, just trying to make a buck. They're not cheap. They're like $50 a ticket for a preseason game. And for the season ticket holders, it's not fair because no one wants to go to the games. The only situation where it kind of works out is, say, you grew up in the Pittsburgh area and you're a Packers fan. I know, I think it was last year, the Packers came in for a preseason game. Well, I knew a couple of people that were asking my moms, they had kids that were Packers fans that wanted to go to the game, wanted to see, some of their favorite Packer players. That's the only situation where it actually pans out. If you're from a city where you don't necessarily play the team that much and you're a fan of that team, that organization, you have a chance to go to those games. But other than that, preseason is basically a big scam. So just going on the NFL a little bit more. I know Richie and everyone talked the other night about USA Today predictions. I don't really have much to touch on that other than the fact that the Patriots are not going 16-0. Bill Belichick is not worried about being undefeated in the regular season. You saw a couple years back, the year they went undefeated in the regular season, lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants. At the end of the day, championships are the only thing that matters. Winning the Lombardi Trophy, winning that Super Bowl, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, none of them are worried about going undefeated in the regular season, and they shouldn't be, honestly. Like, in today's football, you want to win every game. Every athlete, every player wants to win every single game. But the fact is, championships are what matter. They're going to rest Tom Brady towards the end of the season. Not even in that respect. You're playing 16 professional football teams. While the Patriots are arguably top three team, one of the top three teams in the NFL this year coming into the season, there's a good chance they could drop a game to, anyone. Like, they could drop a game to Miami, the Bills, anyone in their division, let alone they have to play at Pittsburgh, I believe, this year. It's going to be a really tough game for them. Obviously I'm a Steelers fan, but playing at Pittsburgh, you have Martavis Bryant back, Antonio Brown, Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell. They got a lot of people getting better on the defense. Go to Pittsburgh and beat them. I think it's later in the season too. I just don't see them going undefeated. I know that USA Today had them going, winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's realistic. I think the best two teams in the AFC are the Patriots and Steelers. So them going to the Super Bowl is not far-fetched, but 16-0, that's kind of a reach. The only other thing I want to talk about today, I'm not sure if this is a very common opinion or not, but USA Today had the Cowboys winning the division. While I think they're the best team in the NFC East, I don't think you can count the Giants out. The Giants are a pretty well-rounded team. You have Eli Manning as a two-time Super Bowl champ at quarterback, running the team. I think they're going to be difficult to beat twice. I think the Giants have a realistic shot at winning the division over the Cowboys. While the Cowboys have Ezekiel Elliott and the best offensive line in football, I think that Dak's going to come down from cloud, 9 a little bit. A lot of people talk about sometimes having a sophomore slump. I don't think Dak is going to do as well this year as he did last year. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's going to hit some, a couple rough spots, have a couple bad games. That's why I think it's going to be open for the Giants to win that division. But, that's just my opinion. Playing in the NFL is obviously not a very easy thing. Coming into the second season, people are going to have more film on Dak. I just don't see him, having as good as years he did last year. Especially when you look at the NFL year in and year out. Sometimes, if you're not a franchise quarterback, you have some rough years. Look back a couple of years, Colin Kaepernick, let the league on fire, and then, he's not even on a team right now, I believe. He's not in a starting position at least. Another couple things I want to get into. I know that they talked on this show a little bit about the Big Ten. I have a lot of opinions about that. Grew up a Michigan fan. I'm representing a little bit here. Got my Michigan shirt on. Grew up a Michigan fan. Went to school at Pitt. Played a little football there. So obviously I'm very biased towards Penn State. As a Michigan supporter and a Pitt supporter. Personally, I do not see Penn State winning the Big Ten this year. I'm a big Penn State hater. I'm gonna get criticized for this. I like to refer to Penn State as Creepy Valley. Bash on the Penn State cult a little bit. I like to call them. But I don't realistically see them winning the Big Ten this year. I think Ohio State's going to lock that down. I hate to say it. Michigan's young, pretty talented. Wisconsin's going to be pretty tough again. But I'd have to say I think that Ohio State's going to take that conference. Penn State maybe second or third best team. I mean, it's hard for me to realistically think that Penn State's going to win that division when you look at the other teams they're playing. I know they got Michigan home this year. They got Pitt home. Pitt's a non-conference game they have. But that's not going to be an easy task either. I know last year going to the Pitt-Penn State game, I was, screaming and hollering that Pitt's going to beat Penn State. No one took me seriously. Everyone just thought, oh, he's just a Pitt fan, Pitt lover, that they thought Penn State was going to go in the Heinz Field, walk all over them. All I heard was Pitt can't fill a stadium. There's no way they're going to be able to compete with the great and mighty Penn State. And look what happened, 42-39. Pitt, upset Penn State. Probably Pitt is the one that knocked them out of the, college football playoffs last year when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. So I love that. It makes me very happy. But this year, I'm not going to go out there and scream and holler like I did last year that Pitt was going to win. Because last year, Pitt had Nate Peterson. They had Connor. They had a solid defense. You have Narduzzi at head coach now. I like their chances last year. This year, I don't know who they're having running back. Who's going to step up and carry the ball. They got a few guys that can definitely carry the ball, but I don't know. I just don't like necessarily their chances this year, Pitt playing at Penn State. Creepy Valley is a very hard place to play at. They have some of the best fans and most loyal fans in the world. The stadium is super, super loud. Very tough environment to play at. They're going to have, I don't know who they're going to have starting at quarterback for Pitt. I'm assuming it's going to be the USC transfer. I'll have to look more into that when, start talking predictions for the game. But I'm not going to give a prediction today. But I do not necessarily like Pitt's chances at Happy Valley. And I hate to say that, but that's just being realistic. Especially when you look at, Penn State's team coming back. You have Shawcon Barkley. I know they talked on the show. They're sitting, this week they said it's probably the second best running back in the league. The country. I'd have to disagree with that. I think he's number one. I think Barkley is a difference maker. He's a playmaker. You give him the ball, he's going to make things happen. I don't see anyone else in the country who is overall as good as him. I mean, when you looked at him carve up USC last year in the Rose Bowl game, he makes cuts other people don't make. He breaks through tackles. He's not that big of a guy, but he plays big. I don't know if you guys saw him on social media in the weight room at Penn State, but that dude is a freak. Absolute freak. The shit that he does is in the weight room blows my mind. He's not that big of a guy. He plays big. He lifts big. He's a huge player. I see him carving up Pitt's defense this year, and I know last year Pitt had a pretty good front seven. Their only real weaknesses was secondary, but I really, really see Penn State running the ball in Pitt this year. It's going to be hard to beat them, like I said, at Happy, Creepy Valley. But I'm really looking forward to it. I got tickets to the game already. I'll be there with my family. I'm super excited. Just a few things I want to elaborate on. So basically a little recap here at the end. Basically, preseason football in the NFL, to me, as a fan, is kind of a joke. I mean, the true fans, it's great to see your team out there playing, evaluate some of the younger guys, get to see what's coming up for the next couple of years. But to actually pay and go to the game, I think is a scam. I hate it. I don't like the idea. People pay a lot of money for, essentially, football is entertainment. And preseason football is not that great of entertainment. So you're paying for low-quality football, even though it's, true diehard fans enjoy going to the games, enjoy going to spring training, going to training camp and everything. Because I know, the Steelers have it at St. Vincent College. I've been there a couple of times, really enjoyed it. But to actually pay and go to Heinz Field to watch them play, I think it's a scam. I don't like it. Another thing, don't think the Patriots are going 16-0 this year. That's just me. I'm a big Patriots hater. But I think that doesn't really matter. I think that's just not realistic in today's NFL. Also, I'm looking forward to a Dak sophomore slump. We'll see here coming up in the next, couple months if that's going to happen or not. But I think the Giants might be a surprise sleeper in that division. When you have a two-time, Super Bowl champ at the right in the ship, I think they have a really good shot of, winning that division. Pirates, love them, love baseball. It's just hard to be a Pirates fan. I just don't think in the last 25 years they've really wanted to win it all. I don't think they've made the necessary GM moves to win a world championship. When you're playing in a division, the NL Central, when you have the Cubs and the Cardinals who have made deep postseason run, won championships, I don't think management has made it their goal to win a World Series. They might tell the media, they might, seem like they do, but they just do enough every year to keep ticket sales up. That's my opinion. I would like to see them, change that, go and get an ace pitcher, help the bullpen out, make a necessary ad that would help them in the postseason, but I just don't see them doing that. But, well, this was the, first episode of Spaces or Laces. Just wanted to go a little bit off of, what the guys did the other night. This is my first time doing this by myself, just trying to learn, the ropes of everything. Want to talk a little bit about preseason football, games and, the ticket sales and everything like that. But, check us out on YouTube, Periscope, Southbound Sports show, Spaces or Laces. This is your host, Jeffrey Meyer, signing off. Thank you.